Godswill Akpabio was the party's choice for the coveted office. But other senators, led by another former governor, Abdulaziz Yari, felt the race should be thrown open. At the end of voting, Godswill Akpabio emerged victorious with 63 votes against Yari's 43. In the Green Chambers, it was a smooth sail for Tajuddin Abbas as he virtually swept away any form of opposition by securing over 95% of the votes cast as he emerged the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So on Insight today, we will stay with all that went down at the National Assembly yesterday, the politicking, the behind-the-scene deals, the last-minute concessions, and all that. And my guest, yes, you guessed right, my guest is Dr. Law Mefo, forensic and social psychologist, and also a media and communication strategist. And Dr. Mefo has also had a stint in the National Assembly, so I think he's at home with this issue. Dr. Mefo, thank you for joining us on Insight.
Yeah, thank you, Lawrence, for inviting me and in Nigeria.
Thank you, Dr. Mefo. So, you can join our live stream on YouTube by typing in Citizen FM 93.7. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. Not forgetting our social media platforms. On Facebook, you can join us at Citizen FM Abuja. On Instagram, at Citizen FM 937. And also on Twitter, at Citizen FM 937. So that's how it's going to be in the next 45 minutes or thereabout. Dr. Law Mefo, my guest, is here, and he will help us make sense of a lot of things that happened yesterday in the two chambers of the National Assembly. Dr. Mefo, let's set the stage for the discussion. What's your general assessment of the high points of what happened yesterday, generally, before we dwell into the specifics?
Yeah, well, for me, I think democracy won. Party supremacy also prevailed, and I think it's good for democracy. My only problem is the opposition didn't show itself strong enough. Yes, the ruling party, the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has every right to try to influence the leadership of both the chambers. They command the simple majority in both. And opposition, on the other hand, also ought to have shown that they are opposition, but they will present themselves as an organized opposition in the 10th National Assembly. I didn't see much of that. Beginning with the Senate, the withdrawal from the race of Senator Ochituzulaso and Senator Ojuzokalo, helped to pave the way for Ababio to emerge almost unhindered. And the choice of Yari, former governor of Zamfara State, as the main challenger to the party anointed candidate, preferred also by the president, Ababio. It was a 4-1 in my own estimation. One is that Yari is the first-time senator, and the party ranking policy or principle of the Senate was actually against it. And there is also this strong sentiment that the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4 citizens of Nigeria shouldn't all be Muslims. So there was this feeling that there is need to throw in the Christian religion into the mix, being the the alternate most dominant religion in Nigeria. So you can see that so many odds were really working in the favor of Godswill Akpabio. And the opposition didn't show itself quite organized, even though Yari, surprisingly, was able to pull through 46 votes as against the 63, with which Akpabio won. That in itself is something, I believe, is a personal record, showing that indeed he is a formidable figure in the 10th Senate. In the House of Reps, the performance of the opposition there is even more, dismal, because I had expected, since they commanded the majority, so to speak, coming together, PDP, Labour, all of them coming together, actually, had the number that surpasses that of the ruling party. I think they were up to 182, perhaps more. But we didn't see that reflect in the voting. In a situation where up to 330 out of 336 honorable members who are new voted for Abbas, it didn't really show that the opposition was really there with a full understanding of what the opposition politics is all about. However, Abbas himself, if you look at Abbas as an individual, the opposition can also adopt him as their candidate. And I do hope that was what happened. That the opposition really think that Abbas, despite being the nominee of the ruling party, is actually the man to final the affairs of the House of Reps in the 10th National Assembly. Because if you look at Abbas, I think it should be a third timer, at least, or at least a second timer. I think it's up to a third timer. And he holds the record of sponsoring he wants to be, in the 9th House of Reps, and he's an intellectual, as I understand, he's coming from the academia, and therefore can pass for a technocrat. He has experience on his side. In other words, he can actually be adopted by opposition. Where that is the case, I've expected opposition to tell Nigerians so that yes, we adopt this person. You don't just go to the polls and revolt the choice of the ruling party and still call yourself opposition when you didn't make any case. So the Nigerians will know that there will be balance of views in business of the National Assembly in both chambers.
Okay, Dr. Mefo, let's start with the Senate. Let's stay with the Senate for a while. Just like you said, Senator Yari secured 46 votes, about more than 40% of the votes, total votes cast in the chambers. And this is coming after the party made its choice known. And despite all attempts to make him back down, he still secured 40% of the votes. What does this say about what is likely to play out in the Senate? You've been around in the Senate and the National Assembly for a while. You know how these things work.
The way the Senate is organized, the National Assembly as a whole, don't forget that Yari is also of the APC extraction. And I believe that that rough gauge will be smoothed out by Akpabio, who is actually a very sagacious politician, and I'm sure he will reach out. The guy put up a good fight. He lost. He saw that he lost, and I really do not envisage that he would continue to be belligerent, if I may use that word, or antagonistic, better put, against Akpabio as the Senate President. There are ways they normally take care of those things. They will find him a very good committee that will keep him busy and also relevant in the affairs. And he wouldn't really constitute a clog on the wheel of progress, because they are from the same party. From now going forward, it will be about issues put forward by the party and how Ababio is able to navigate the process to carrying everybody along, even the official opposition.
Okay.
So, I personally do not think that the Yari will constitute himself into an opposition against Ababi moving forward.
All right, Dr. Menfor, now, since the emergence of Senator Akpabio yesterday, there's this apprehension from a lot of public commentators. Oh, this is going to be another rubber stamp assembly, whatever that means. I don't know. We've said this over and over, especially when discussing the 9th assembly. The emergence of this, is it something that should really be worrying to people?
Well, you see, what Nigerians see or call legislative independence does not be interpreted to be the executive and the legislature being on war path, all the time. No. The arms of government in a presidential democracy, they are coordinated and equal. And that is why they are manned, the three arms of government are manned by three different individuals. Abadio is a politician, a core politician. Tinubu himself is also a very core politician. And the two of them enjoy personal relationships. If you remember the ADC presidential primaries, the growing tribute that Abadio paid to Tinubu while stepping down for him and urging everybody else to go home and support the emergence of Tinubu as the APC flag bearer. So there is some relationship existing between them. It's now left for Ababio not to rub that into the state of Nigeria, because that was what Lawan did. Lawan told Nigerians that whatever Buhari would bring it to the Senate, was good enough for Nigeria. And we saw where that landed us. You saw how he approved even a frivolous loans, for Buhari, to the point that Nigeria is now saddled with about 77 trillion naira, both internal and external loans, approved under the watch and leadership of Senator Lawan. So obviously, it's not everything that Buhari brought before the National Assembly that was good for Nigeria and for Nigeria. Because as we speak, there's no money to even run the country. And that was why the president, in his inaugural speech, abruptly announced the removal of the 12th subsidy without any preparations to cushion the effect. It's because he met an empty well, to use this word. Empty well, dry, nothing, no money. If you look at the amount we spend to furnish debt, he has reached 93%. Leaving the government of the day only 7% window to pay salaries, to do capital projects, to do social interventions. You and I know that this is not possible. But that is where Lawan, Senate, and National Assembly brought the country. So it would be much of a disaster if Abadio would repeat the rubber stamp kind of Senate that Lawan presided over. But again, like I said, I am mindful of the fact that, they need to cooperate. You need to cooperate, but you don't need to acquiesce. In a presidential democracy, legislature as an arm of government is there to oversight, to check the executive arm and the judiciary. That job cannot be compromised. The legislature is the assemblage of the voters of Nigeria, of the citizens. That is the actual office of the citizens. That is where the citizens are gathered, assembled. And what that means now is that Abadio is the actual person representing the whole country, the whole voter. Not even the president. The president is to execute. He is there to do the job as assigned, by the National Assembly executing the laws, executing, for example, what we call the Appropriation Act, which is an annual ritual. It is Nigerians approving the money that will be spent by the executive. And then once that is done, it becomes the duty of the executive of the executive to act as appropriation has provided. Anything outside that will have to be checked by the legislature. This is how the whole thing works. But if you have a National Assembly that does not carry out its assigned functions, then what do you have? You have a very corrupt system, because the executive can get away with anything because the National Assembly is not there to do the work. And this is exactly the major pain of Nigerian democracy, because the National Assembly has not been able to carry out its assigned function. They have not been able to ensure that the Appropriation Act that they passed into law, were actually implemented to the letter. If you violate an Appropriation Act, it's an impeachable offense. But we know that since 1999 to date, the Appropriation Act of the National Assembly have all been observed in breach. None of them was complied with. And what has the National Assembly been doing? Nothing. They instead go back to the same executive and share in the contract bazaar. So when you go to the executive arm, the ministry, departments and agencies, you're supposed to oversight to collect contracts, you lose the power to oversight them. But this is what is going on. So Abobio has his job cut out, but whether he will be able to do that job is quite a different thing.
Okay.
For me again, just one thing.
Okay.
Just one thing. I believe that Tinubu showed a master stroke in his choice of Abuja. A lot of people may not see the real reason. The real reason may be the 2023 presidential election. If it results in a runoff or in a rerun, it is the Senate president that will act until the election votes. Nobody is looking at that. But that will be the actual reason Tinubu is insisting on his own man in case he ends in that. He has to leave power temporarily to contest again under a run or runoff. If that happens and you don't have your man to act as Nigeria's president for a month or two, you will lose out completely.
Okay. That's a point that a lot of commentators are not seeing, but I think it's something worth exploring, Dr. Mefo. Yeah, but Senator Akpabio said after emerging the Senate president that he will work in harmony with the executive, and now we know that after settling down, one of the first assignment the Senate will have would be the receipt of ministerial lists from the executive arm of government. A lot of Nigerians are looking forward to this. Over the years, there's been this clamor for the president to attach portfolios to that list. Do you think there may be a change this time around?
You can't change it if it's not legal. The much the National Assembly was able to amend is that the ministerial list must appear before the Senate within 2 months of the swearing in of the president. That's the much. We never really said that the portfolios will have to be attached. That is what it ought to be. Because once you don't attach portfolio, then you'll be doing general screening, because none of the ministers would know where he or she will be headed. But if you attach portfolio, we would have been able to avert certain disasters. Look at the immediate past Minister of Education. He told us that before his appointment that he knew nothing about education. He said so. And you can see his performance as education minister. It was a disaster. Everybody could see it. Under him, he has to went on strike 9 months, second 8 months, or 10 months. And then it was nearly 2 years wiped off the lives of the Nigerian youth, under his watch. And then you can see that if you attach portfolio, if they had attached portfolio, the first question is, tell us what you would do, what I bring to the table as the education minister nominee. The senators would have seen that the man knew nothing about education. I believe he's an accountant. His better qualification is accountancy, and of course he also played in journalism. So, how would that help him as education minister? It didn't help him, and it was demonstrable failure, and himself confessed and told us why. So I agree with you that it would have made a world of difference if they attach the portfolios, but they don't. And for you to get that done, to attach the portfolios, they have to include a constitutional amendment. The reason why they don't always like to attach portfolios is a sort of a blackmail. Because if they attach the portfolios, many of the nominees will not accept. That is the issue. And it will become embarrassing to the president. That's just the problem. Otherwise, the president will naturally already knows. The list he has drawn, he has people in mind that will manage. So it's not as if it is after the screening that they will not decide to say, you go there. No. He already knows where he's assigning these people. So why don't you let the senators know? He doesn't want, because some of them may drop. Remember one time, this guy was, there's this senator from Akwa Ibom or Cross River. He's a notable senator. I can't remember his name now. He was cleared by the Senate. Then in the chamber where they were being sworn in, he learned that he was going to be sent to Ministry of Environment, and he walked away from the swearing-in chamber and they returned to the Senate. So you can see that such it could be the reason why the presidents are always reluctant to attach portfolios. So you have to compel the president to attach portfolios by amending the extant law. I believe it's even a constitutional amendment that it will take.
All right, Dr. Mafo, we need to take a short break. We will return after this break. Please don't go away.
Abuja. Wake up. Reach out. Speak up. Speak out. You are the voice of a new generation. And this is your station. Talk Radio 93.7 Citizen FM. I say get out of my house. How we no get out? He go hard in you. If you make a 10 slap me, something go scatter in the windy. Walk on the air, I'm shingam nika hero do it. Me do it atabi.
Angbanev de yeren kwaya shingam pagachi. Do me sit my miongo hin ate utiv sha itioki Citizen FM 93.7. Gadioka shin owan Angbanev kwa ngwankwa mashi hene kwa chi. Ama chotom ihemion danza ahwa aha. Ate utiv chi kati wase sha itioki Citizen FM. Ate utiv chi.
The Abuja National Mosque Dawah and Welfare Foundation is established to implement, consolidate, and sustain Dawah activities as well as other impactful programs and projects that benefit humanity. The program of activities of the foundation will be aired on Citizen 93.7 FM, Abuja, every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. For more information, please contact 0803 631 3301 or 0803 394 6559. Remember, it's the program of activities of the Abuja National Mosque Dawah and Welfare Foundation. Live on Citizen 93.7 FM. Thursdays, 11:30 a.m. Don't miss it.
We teach girls shame. Close your legs, cover yourself. We make them feel as though by being born female, they're already guilty of something.
So I think right now we have the chance to be heard, and that's why we're doing it. We're all doing it because we're asking to try and elicit change.
No woman should sit down and allow a man to speak about her reproductive rights.
But it is about opening spaces for other women and not to be seen as token, and that because I'm a woman, I'm only speaking about women at the table. No, I'm speaking about side of the table that is empty and that women have to be there. So
I want us to leave this world better than we found it. And how I choose to affect change is by speaking up, by being the first, and by being the dominant.
Over 4 billion of the world's population are girls and women, also faced with challenges that affect our world and contributing solutions to them. Let's have conversations and get some answers to them through their eyes and voices. Tune in to Perspectives, where we discuss important issues ranging from climate change, politics, health, the economy, and lifestyle on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja. Weekdays from midday. Perspectives. Conversations that matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Super Citizen at Sunset on Citizen FM 93.7. This is the fun-packed radio show you heard about. Did you miss any one of our programming today? Join me, Diddy, from the Citizen Pot when we run through our programs from sunrise. Stay abreast, get informed on news roundup. It even gets better. Do you think you know Nigeria? Answer 3 questions correctly and be one of our daily winners on Quizzes. It is the full package. Let's take you back, way back on African Vibes. Let's celebrate the African people, the rich cultures across borders, the languages, the good food, and wealth of excellence on African Vibes. Join me every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is on Citizen FM 93.7 Abuja.
Hello, Abuja. You are listening to 93.7 Citizen FM, the latest radio station based in Nigeria's capital. 93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a radio station. We are a part of your life.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umotte, and we've been discussing the National Assembly, the inauguration of the National Assembly, and the emergence of presiding officers of the 2 chambers of the National Assembly. And my guest is Dr. Umotte, forensic and social psychologist, and also media and communication strategist. Dr. Umotte, thank you for staying tuned.
Thank you. I'm still here.
Yes, you can join us on our live stream on YouTube. Type in Citizen FM 93.7, and also you can listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. Our social media platforms are still there. Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. The phone lines are also open. You can call us on 0818 2222205. That's 0818 2222205. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on that same number too. Let us know where you are writing from, so that we will read out your message. And as I said earlier, my guest is Dr. Umotte. He is a law teacher. He is a communications teacher. He is also a psychologist and an author, and so many things wrapped into one. And we are looking at the National Assembly the day after, the morning after. What exactly is going to happen now that the legislature has been inaugurated. So, Dr. Mefo, let's move over to the House of Representatives. The voting there was almost one-sided, clean sweep, if you ask me, and it was, for a lot of people, shocking. Do you think it had anything to do with the open ballot?
Yes, open ballot certainly was a part of it. But I expected the men at that level to stand their ground and the courage of their own conviction. Even if you cannot say it openly, why say it behind? So that is one. And number two, I also think that the democratic credentials of Abbas himself spoke volumes. I gave instances of his record as a third-timer, in the House of Reps, holding the record of an honorable member that has the greatest number of bills to his credit. That is something quite outstanding. It meant that his work rate was unprecedented in the 8th and 9th Senate. And he is also an intellectual. He's coming from the academia and can therefore be seen as a Democrat, as a technocrat. The implication of that is that he has a lot of capacity and experience, speaking for him. And he was endorsed by the party, accepted by the president. So he had so much going for him. And just like Ababio also had a lot going for him. And unsurprisingly, he won. I actually believed he was going to win. When somebody like Honorable Pepera stepped down, I began to really see that Abbas was having his pancreas cracked by the benevolent spirit. The Tinubu factor again, as a very sagacious politician. He had his way. He's been around politics for 2 to 3 decades, and he understands how this game is played. And we saw it reflect in the emergence of his choices in both chambers. But again, like I said earlier, I wasn't quite impressed with the opposition. They haven't shown that they will show themselves as a common front that will ensure balance of power and the robust debate in the House of Reps, so that the bills and motions will pass only after standing scrutiny and reflecting the general aspirations and wishes of Nigerians, which is exactly what their representation means. If you look at the statutory responsibilities of the legislature, there are 3 essentially: lawmaking, representation, and of course oversight. These 3, that's why the National Assembly is there, and they must do the job and do it very well by ensuring that there is robust opposition. And opposition has very clear, majority, 182 of them. They are more. It means that if they had actually wanted somebody else and they had a united front, they would have been able to produce a speaker that is even not of APC extraction. I'm happy they still choose APC because they won majority. They are the ruling party. And if you go to the American Congress, where we borrowed our own democratic model, you will see that the ruling party always produces the president of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And it's a rule there. And, so since we've copied that model from America, we should also try to allow the ruling party, especially where they have produced a simple majority in the Senate or House of Reps, to produce the leader. So to that extent, I think I agree with the opposition. They did well by allowing that to be. But that still doesn't mean that somebody else from the same ruling party couldn't have been supported by opposition. The number is for over 95%. It has never happened in the National Assembly. So the pattern being what we call outlier in statistics is an indicator of maybe that they choose one who they believe is most experienced, most competent, and most cooperative, somebody they believe they can work with, and they all supported the ruling party and the opposition party. I do hope that this was what happened and not anything else. But again, going forward, opposition must, everything the speaker says must not be right. No, everything the ruling party APC says must not be right. You wouldn't take because you don't want to offend Abbas or get into his bad books, and you don't want him to assign irrelevant committees to you and all that. And because of it, you must go along with everything he says. Because like you rightly pointed out, the issue of open ballots, many of them that would have gone the other way, seeing that the bandwagon is tending towards Abbas, decided to also join the bandwagon and that way not get into the bad books. For what reason? They just want to be sure that they don't lose out in a committee assignments and distribution, which of course is the prerogative of the body of principal officers, which the speaker is the chairman in House of Reps and the Senate president chairman in the Senate. So I believe that please, they need to put their acts together, because a presidential democracy is arranged in ruling party and the opposition has to be really virile. It has to be really organized, so as to make the work, the business of the National Assembly to be very, very robust, robust, healthy debate, deep research, and finding the best way of reflecting the wishes of the Nigerians in the kind of motions and bills that get passed ultimately.
Okay.
So this is just my fear, and the media will also have to keep a tab on them and keep reminding them of this statutory responsibility.
Okay, Dr. Mefo, there's this campaign going on now that we need to reduce the cost of governance across board in Nigeria, and some people have pushed that argument to say, why do we need a bicameral legislature? Why not a single legislature as part of cutting down costs? And two, why don't we have part-time lawmakers? Do you think these are things that will have any merit, this argument?
People who are proposing that are demonstrating, serious ignorance. If you see what goes on in National Assembly, you see that it's not possible to have part-time lawmakers. It's just, even now that you have them as full-time lawmakers, have they really been able to do the job fully well? Is it when you bring them in as part-time that the job will not be done? You can't even contemplate part-time lawmaking. It's not done. You can't do that in a presidential democracy. The reason is because those bills will have to be researched into, seriously debated. You understand? And it takes time to get that done. If you see what goes on, what Nigerians see is what goes on in
plenary.
In the plenary, where the work is done is at the committee level. That is where the work is done. The committees will have to really do the work and bring the report to the plenary. That is what the people see. If you understand the number of hours that go into committee assignments, you never believe it. In many cases, it requires, physically visiting these MDAs, where it comes to oversight functions, you need to look at the books, you need to ask questions, you need to invite experts to scrutinize some of these things. Don't forget that the senators and honorable members are not in themselves, holding all the expertise that they really need to do the work properly. So they need to bring in experts. They need to bring in experts. They need to have time to interact with them. They need to have time to do. It's not something you can do on part-time basis. I agree that I think where Nigerians should focus, it's not even on the number of hours they put in legislation. Where the problem is the amount that is the Senate and House leaderships assigned to committees. That's where the fraud occurs. The money, that they just assign arbitrarily. If you go and look at the salary of the senator, it may not be more than 800,000 naira a month. That's not a big deal. So that is not where the problem is. It's not from the salary. But when you now begin to look at the amount they share at committee level, that is where you will now begin to see that each senator may be going away every month with 10 to 13 million naira. That is what Nigerians should be looking at. I was there, so I know what I'm talking about. I was there for a decade at least. So I understand the workings of the National Assembly. I wrote a book on it, and I know that the problem is not the number of hours. The problem is how they arbitrarily allocate humongous amounts of money to themselves. If you go and look at their allowances, that is where the problem is. You will see allowance even for newspaper, for dogs, for housekeeping, for all those. There are certain allowances I consider irrelevant if Nigerians really want to understand what I mean. They are irrelevant, and they are just excuses being used to allocate humongous amounts of money to these people. And you see, again, why is it that the senators and the honorable members, are looking for money everywhere? For two reasons. They are looking for money because, their constituents they are waiting for them. Anytime they show up, you can't even, leave your house without spending, thousands, sometimes millions, on daily basis.
And they also spent a lot during the election.
The elections, some of them borrowed money and all those things. Our electoral process is monetized. And apart from the previous election, they are also accumulating money for future elections. That is how they dabbled into constituency projects. It's not a legislative assignment. Constituency projects is just because they want to show something to their people. To say, look, I brought this home. I attracted this, I brought this. And they will use it as basis to argue and campaign for their re-election. So the functions of the legislators and the legislature as a whole, it has they have somehow been confused in the minds of Nigerians, and that's why Nigerians are expecting the legislators to construct roads. It's not their duty to construct roads. I have a senator representing me. He represented me in the last Senate. Senator Uche Nkurife. Go to Anambra Central and see what she did. You won't believe that it is just a lawmaker doing all this. How was she able to do that? It's through all these things we are talking about. She was involved even in road construction in Anambra Central. And it's not only her, it's across board. That is how all the members of National Assembly, that is what they do. They scramble for all these things. So you will say that the leadership of National Assembly understands the pressure their colleagues are under, including themselves. So they keep so much to themselves as principal officers. They keep so much to themselves. And of course, for their members to keep quiet, the members will have to also get part of that back. That's what is going on. So if you really want to cut down on cost of doing government business, you have to look at all these things. But again, have you looked at the executive arm of government? Does the honorable member or senator take more than the minister, who is unelected, not elected by anybody? But the ministers, we know the kind of life they live. We know what they preside over. Their salary may not be more than 1 million naira a month, but you and I know that it's not that salary that is the issue. It's not the salary at all. Okay. So the heads of the MPAs, look at the accountant general of the federation, took away over 100 billion. Didn't you see that? 100 billion accountant general. And, it's just one example. Hadi Sirika, who committed 600 billion to Nigeria Air, until today we can't see one plane, one aircraft, not one. So when we are looking at the legislature, we have to look at all of them holistically. More of these problems are in the executive arm of government. The journalists should focus more on the executive arm of government.
Okay, Dr. Mefo, it's always a pleasure listening to you, but I'm afraid we've run out of time. From next week, perhaps we will also set an agenda for the National Assembly and also do a timeline of all the activities so that we'll be able to keep tab of whatever they are doing. So, but thank you so much, Dr. Mefo, for your intervention.
Thank you.
So much.
The pleasure is always mine. Have a blessed day, Nigeria.
Yeah. Well, that was Dr. Law Mefo, forensic and social psychologist, teacher, and journalist. He was our guest on Insight, and he helped us make sense of the inauguration of the National Assembly yesterday and some of the talking points. Well, that's how far we can go on the program today. The program returns on Monday with another edition. My name is Lawrence Umotte. Enjoy the rest of your day.
93.7 Citizen FM.
Let's talk about it on our favorite radio station.
We're more than just a